What's going on, everyone? So the patience is clearly working in the Lakers' favor, right? Asking prices have been insane for guys, and now you're starting to see teams start to slowly drop their price, right? Dennis Schroeder being traded. Originally, Nets wanted a first, right? That's what they wanted. We want a first. He didn't go for a first. He went for a couple seconds, right? All of a sudden, you're hearing Jeremy Grant's asking price goes from 2 firsts to now 1. Kyle Kuzma's asking price goes from 2 firsts to now 1. You're hearing all of these players that originally were up here are all here now, right? Now, will it keep dropping as you get closer to trade deadline? That's why I've talked about Lakers need to remain patient. Look, we need a trade, and we need one like yesterday, right? Like, without a doubt, right? The fan in me, and I've said this, the Laker fan in me is like, go get a trade today. What are you doing? Like, just screaming, right? Like, to get something done. But the level head, letting calmer heads prevail is saying, like, we got to remain patient. You got to find the right trade. The problem is that the Lakers need multiple trades. They need multiple moves, which they themselves, based on reports, know and understand. They're trying to get 3 guys, right? They're trying to get a guard, a wing, and a center. You're not going to be able to get that if you give up all your picks in the first trade, unless it is something where you're able to get all kind of in one deal, right? Like, whether it's a 3-team deal or like a Nets trade or whatever. Like, if you can get everything in one, then sure, give up your picks, do whatever you got to do. But realistically, Lakers are probably going to have to piece some stuff together, right? So it might be a combination of like, Day'Ron Sharpe or let's say Dorian Finney-Smith, and then a Valanciunas, and then can you get a like a Cody Martin, and then you're going to go bring in, Markelle Fultz or whatever, right? Like, it's going to be probably a collective thing, but you have to be patient. You have to let things evolve and develop. But also, again, now that the prices are dropping, they're probably going to drop again once you get close to the trade deadline. Because you're going to have these teams that really want to get off of guys that are like, hey, we're better than we want to be, right? Like, Cam Johnson, does he go? He's right now, he's at 2 firsts. Does he all of a sudden become now 1? Right? Or can you maybe right now get him for 1? We just saw them want 2 firsts for a first for Dennis Schroeder, and they took less. Would they take less for Cam Johnson? Can you go get a Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Day'Ron Sharpe? At that point, beautiful. You got 2 3-and-D wings, got your backup center for now and the future. At that point, bring in a Fultz or whatever, keep Gabe Vincent, or do whatever you need to do at that point, right? Like, you're in good shape. You got your front 8 guys, 9 guys, and you're just in a much better position, right? So, depending on how things shape up and are developed. But I've talked about this, right? Like, look at, 2 seasons ago. You got the Rui trade. I would like the Rui trade, which is, a month out before the trade deadline. We ended up trading for Rui Hachimura. Right, just to get us excited, even if it is Valanciunas, right? I'm not like super high on Valanciunas, but I do think that there would be this sense of relief, this sense of excitement. Again, I think fans would start to come around a little bit more. I think people would be more excited. I think the Lakers themselves, locker room, all that. It's kind of like, okay, cool. First step, right? More is coming. They did this, boom, right? We're all hyping up Valanciunas like he's, Hakeem the Dream, right? Like, we're just like, this is it. Lakers are the best team, right? Like, we're all like overly hyped. But that's beautiful, right? That gives you that excitement. That gives you here we go. I mean, we did it for Rui. Like, oh, we just stole the league, right? 6'8" guy. And then they went and got D'Lo and Vando and all that stuff, right? Next thing you know, we're in the conference finals, right? But how did we get there? Rob was patient. All those deals that the Lakers pulled off were all there in the offseason, right? Like, look, Utah was there. It was heavily reported. Danny Ainge was pushing hard for a Russell Westbrook trade, harder than anybody. But he didn't want to give up Jared Vanderbilt. And he wanted both firsts unprotected, right? And what was all the talk? Oh, Lakers 2 firsts just to get off of Russell Westbrook. That's not even counting getting players back. That was coming from experts and Laker fans and Laker haters and all that stuff. Oh, you're delusional, Tyler, if you think Lakers are actually going to get value. And I just kept saying, okay, we'll see. Russell Westbrook is an expiring contract that has value. Danny Ainge keeps talking about, like, he really like he said publicly, he thinks the Lakers trades are the Lakers picks are the best on the market. And we were talking about all these other teams, all that stuff. And then it went from 2 unprotected firsts, what was it? Rudy Gay, Mike Conley, and Malik Beasley was what it was. Lakers wanted Jared Vanderbilt. Absolutely not. No Vando, no Vando, no Vando. Okay. Then we got to the start of the season. It was like, all right, fine. 2 firsts, but 1 can be protected. Whatever you want. But no Jared Vanderbilt. Lakers said, no. Rob said, I'm going to be patient, right? Although they did Genie vetoed the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner trade, which I wish we would have pulled off, especially now in hindsight, but I digress, right? Then, we got closer to, the trade season, got to like January, and all of a sudden Utah's like, all right, both first, but both can be protected. And then fast forward to the trade deadline, and it was 1 first, protected. Oh, and we got Jared Vanderbilt. Like, boom. Oh, and by the way, we were able to get D'Angelo Russell instead of Mike Conley, which I know some people think that, like, oh, you should have got Mike Conley. I think D'Lo was still the better decision. I still think that was the best choice. I still think that was a great choice. And look, D'Lo's $18.6 million expiring contract is probably going to help the Lakers now. So even like full circle, I still think it was the better choice, better option. He's just going to have more value than Mike Conley making $10 million a year, right? But point is, Rob Pelinka showed being patient and not just jumping the gun. Because look, Rob Pelinka, right? He's had him getting fleeced trades. He was known early on coming in, like, hey, just give him the first offer close to what he wants and he'll take it. And you saw him do that. And then he learned, okay, I need to be patient here. And he did what everyone said he wouldn't be able to do. That was impossible, right? Anonymous executives and stuff were coming out of the woodworks like, man, like Rob Pelinka's never going to get this done. Guess what? He got it done, right? And we were in the conference finals. Unfortunately, we got ran through by Denver, but we were still in the conference finals. A big turnaround from starting 2-10 that season to being in the conference finals. Problem was that all the other trades too, because I think all the other trades really hurt us, right? Like Malik Beasley became unplayable. He became completely irrelevant. Mo Bamba got injured and just wasn't able to play all season, right? Like you had several guys that just like we got that just turned out to be nothing, which was unfortunate. Otherwise, who knows, right? Like if Malik Beasley is that guy, that we've seen him be on other teams, things might have been a little different. Mo Bamba, if he was kind of the guy who was in Orlando before, we traded for him, things might have been a little different, right? Like, but nonetheless, right? Like Lakers ended up getting what they needed and got it done. Rob needs to stay the course. Rob needs to remain patient. I would, again, like that first initial move like he did that season with Rui. Went and got Rui and put pressure on these other teams like, hey, look, we might not be here. Right? Like teams are willing to trade with us. We might not be here come the trade deadline. Right? And all of a sudden teams, okay, like start boom, boom, dropping their asking prices. So I'd like that just for one, like I said, take some pressure off of the Lakers period, add some excitement in the Laker fans. Rob Pelinka, we're all like, yes, finally he did something, right? Like, and then also just put some pressure on some of these other teams of like, hey, like, we'll piece it together. We'll do whatever we want. You want our picks. You want us to trade. Well, then you better start calling. You better start working with us here. Otherwise, some other team is going to do it. I've talked about this. The more competition there is, as far as like sellers, the better for the Lakers, right? You're starting to see one team lower their asking price, so everyone's lowering the asking price. One team, like that's what you need. You need this competition, right? And the more options there are on the market, the more likely it is that the Lakers get something done. Because, again, if you have, even if another guy goes over here, if you're the Lakers, you still have the flexibility to go get guy A, B, C, D, E, all the way down the line. So I do believe that the Lakers are in very good shape. I keep talking about it, but we got to remain patient. You're starting to see the beginning stages of guys dropping their asking price. They're probably going to keep the asking prices the same, so probably mid-January. I think mid-January you'll start hearing like, okay, maybe we'll take a protected first, right? And then don't be shocked if you can get Kuz for 5 seconds or 4 seconds or something like that at the trade deadline. Or Jeremy Grant you could get for 4 seconds, right, at the trade deadline, right? Like, so, again, some of these guys are probably going to drop. And even some of just like the mid, like Dorian Finney-Smith, they want, a first for Dorian Finney-Smith. They wanted a first for Dennis Schroeder, right? Guess what? It took a couple seconds. So can you do something for Dorian Finney-Smith? Maybe get a couple seconds, right? or Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe. If you could give, like, Lakers have what? I think 5 tradable seconds because they have like the Clippers second. So if you told me you traded all 5 seconds for Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe, perfect. And you still have your 2 firsts. That's only like, it's like 18 million in salary roughly, but let's call it, 20 million just to be safe, right? Boom, that's easy to trade, easy to get. Boom, you got your backup center and center of the future, is 23 years old, and you got, a legit 3-and-D wing. You still have your firsts to now go make some other moves, right? Let's say you do D'Lo and Jalen Hood-Schifino for that, right? You still have like Rui, Gabe Vincent, other things. So you still have you could still get to another 40. I mean, if you trade Reeves, you get to 50 million in tradable salary. If not more, I think you get to more than that, right? And go make multiple moves, right? Go get some other pieces, right? Can you get a Dorian Finney-Smith, Day'Ron Sharpe, and then go get, I don't know, a Bruce Brown, or do you take a flyer on a Brandon Ingram at that point, right? Especially if you get Ingram, not have to give up a first, right? Do they drop their price? I don't know. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out, how things work out, and what the Lakers do, but anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? Do you think no, get all the trades out? Obviously, look, I would love if we could just get everything done now, right? Get everything done today. Perfect, because it gives you more time to kind of build and work on chemistry and camaraderie and the systems that you're going to implement, and right, essentially a new team if you're trading for 3, 4, 5 guys, right? So you have all these guys that you need to now implement into your systems and philosophies and stuff like that. So, depending on how things shape up, I'd prefer it now, but realistically, probably not going to get anything done until mid-January, maybe at the trade deadline. So Lakers have to stay afloat. It's easier when the Lakers are, 5 games, 6 games over 500 than when they're, teetering around 500. It's a big difference, right? A lot more pressure, right? Conversations are different because now you're going from hey, we want this guy to no, hey, we need this guy, right? So big difference. But again, I feel whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.